welcome back to Fameshow host. Today, we've got an electrifying story that spans from high school domination to the hard truths of the NBA. This is the incredible, jaw-dropping saga of Emoni Bates, a once-in-a-generation prospect whose rise and fall has left the basketball world in shock. Just imagine you're a 16-year-old high school sophomore. Not only are you the best player in your class, but you're also hailed as the best high school player in the entire country, regardless of age. That's exactly the scenario for Emoni Bates. Despite being several years younger than his peers, he was considered better than even future #1 picks like Cade Cunningham and Polo Banchero. In 2020, scouts predicted that if NBA rules allowed, he'd be the #1 pick ahead of superstars like Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball. Emoni wasn't just good, he was generational. Sports Illustrated even put his name on the cover, dubbing him the best high school player since LeBron James. And let's not forget, only 3 high school players have ever been on a Sports Illustrated cover: LeBron James himself, Jabari Parker, and Andrew Wiggins. Emoni was being positioned to join these legendary names. Emoni Bates burst onto the high school scene with unbelievable performances. As a 7th grader, he was already averaging 46 points per game in summer leagues, facing opponents who were much older than him. Then, in his high school debut as a freshman, he recorded a staggering 32 points and 15 rebounds, leading his team to both regional and state titles. His game-winning shot became part of school lore, and accolades started to pour in. But with great talent comes great expectations and pressure. By his junior year, questions began to surface. Some scouts wondered if Emoni had reached his ceiling early. Was he stagnating, or had he simply achieved the pinnacle of his potential in high school, making further improvements challenging? In a bold move, Emoni decided to reclassify from the 2022 to the 2021 recruiting class. In other words, he skipped his senior year of high school to jump straight into college basketball. This decision was supposed to fuel his development and elevate him to even greater heights, but it also came with risks. However, the jump to college wasn't as smooth as anyone anticipated. At Memphis, Emoni made his debut with 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. For a moment, it seemed like he'd carry that same explosive energy from high school into college. But as the season wore on, things started to unravel. Despite a promising start, where he was averaging 16 points on 58% shooting from the field and an impressive 50% from 3, his performance quickly took a nosedive. In his next 13 games, his numbers fell to an average of 9 points on just 35% shooting. The dazzling high school star was suddenly facing the harsh reality of tougher competition. Within months, Emoni's name began to drop from early NBA draft boards as scouts struggled to reconcile the hype of his youth with his college struggles. Just when you thought things couldn't get more complicated, off-court issues further derailed his trajectory. After a disappointing stint at Memphis, Emoni made the decision to transfer back to his hometown in Michigan. But the move was anything but a fresh start. In a shocking turn of events, Emoni Bates was arrested in Superior Township, Michigan. Law enforcement discovered a firearm in his vehicle, and he faced charges for carrying a concealed weapon and altering ID marks on the firearm. This incident became a turning point, a moment that not only tarnished his reputation, but also sent shockwaves through the scouting community. Even after taking a plea deal to avoid a lengthy sentence, the shadow of these legal issues followed him like a dark cloud, making NBA teams increasingly cautious about his potential. Once upon a time, Emoni Bates was considered a surefire top pick, the next LeBron James. Instead of being a lottery pick, he slid down to a late second-round selection, the 49th pick in the 2023 NBA draft by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, imagine the dramatic twist, from being the hottest prospect in high school to falling nearly 50 picks later. With the Cavaliers, a team with a rich legacy since the LeBron era and a highly competitive roster, Emoni's path to success became even steeper. Signing a 2-way contract, he found himself fighting for every minute on the court, his opportunities limited by established players like Max Strus, DeAndre Hunter, and Isaac Okoro. But if there's one thing you learn in basketball, it's that a setback doesn't mean the end of the story. While Emoni's NBA minutes were few and far between, his performances in the G League began to hint at the old magic. With the Cleveland Charge, he averaged a promising 24.8 points, 5.1 rebounds, and shot 41% from beyond the arc. In one standout game against the Santa Cruz Warriors, he dropped a career-high 38 points, a reminder of the talent that once captivated scouts across the country. Then came the NBA Summer League, where Emoni once again took center stage. Playing on a stacked squad alongside veterans and fellow prospects, he showcased his shooting prowess, hitting shots from deep and dazzling with his scoring ability. In his debut, he recorded 18 points and 6 rebounds, and as the tournament progressed, he turned heads with his explosive playmaking. Though he didn't single-handedly carry his team, his moments of brilliance sparked excitement and offered a glimmer of hope that his best days might still be ahead. One of the most significant factors in Emoni's journey was his performance at the draft combine. While his shooting skills were undeniable, he consistently ranked in the top 5 in shooting drills. Other measurements painted a concerning picture. His wingspan measured a mere 69 inches, identical to his listed height, which raised red flags since most prospects have a wingspan several inches longer than their height. His hand size and weight were also below the desired benchmarks, and his athletic tests showed him lagging behind many of his peers. So, where does that leave Emoni Bates? On one hand, he's undeniably talented, a scorer with a deadly shooting stroke and the ability to light up a scoreboard like few others ever have. On the other hand, his journey from high school prodigy to struggling NBA rookie is a tale of what might have been had circumstances been different. Many analysts believe that Emoni's downfall might be a case of being in the wrong situation at the wrong time. Drafted so late, he never had the luxury of joining a rebuilding team that could have nurtured his talent and given him the playing time he craved. Instead, he's been thrown into a system that demands instant results and offers little room for error. With established stars like Mitchell and Garland occupying key roles, Emoni's path to a starting position has been blocked. Throughout this roller coaster journey, one thing remains clear: Emoni Bates is not your typical prospect. His rise was meteoric, his potential once deemed boundless. And yet the transition from dominating high school basketball to thriving in the NBA has proven to be one of the most challenging paths in modern sports. We've seen him light up scoreboards, carry his team in critical moments, and even face down adversity on and off the court. Every step of his career, from that awe-inspiring high school debut to the turbulent college season, from the legal troubles to the draft day shock, and finally to his gritty battle in the G League and Summer League, tells a story of immense talent, harsh realities, and the relentless pressure of expectations. Looking ahead, what does the future hold for Emoni Bates? At just 21 years old, he's still in the early chapters of his career. His undeniable scoring ability and natural feel for the game suggest that, under the right conditions, he could still evolve into a significant contributor in the NBA. The prevailing sentiment among many experts is that Emoni might need to leave Cleveland, the organization that drafted him, to truly flourish. In a setting where he's not boxed in by established stars and where the coaching staff can tailor the offense to his strengths, he might finally have the freedom to take charge and become the star he was born to be. In wrapping up today's deep dive into the rise and fall of Emoni Bates, we're left with a mix of admiration and heartbreak. His story is a vivid example of how even the most promising talents can be derailed by circumstances beyond their control, yet also a reminder that every setback can be a setup for a greater comeback. Thank you for joining us on this exhilarating ride through the highs and lows of Emoni Bates' career. We want to hear your thoughts. What do you think is next for this once-in-a-generation talent? Drop your opinions in the comments below. Please like and subscribe for the latest entertainment and celebrity news.